to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico. You're talking to the bad guy. Toothpick in your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, yo. Look, something happened to thee, something happened to you, okay?
What's going on, everybody, man? I have a very, very special guest, man. My dad, man, my father, man, one of the most influential people in my life, man. How you doing, Dad?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you could come, man. Man, before I get it started, man, I just gotta tell you how important you've been to me, man, for my life, man. You're the first person I've seen do a lot of things, like get up and go to work and take care of his family. Made me the reason why I wanted to have a family. Most importantly, man, I used to see you wake up. I used to see you wake up every morning and pray. I used to see you. You didn't ever know I was looking at. I was a little boy. I was probably like 4 or 5, seeing you pray. I'm like, man, what is he doing? But later on, I caught on what you do, and I just attached it to my life as well, man. Just praying and then fasting as well. It's something that I definitely do now. You was fasting when we were growing up. You influenced me on a lot of things, man. Sports, music, spirituality, just a lot of things that, how to become a man. You was always being hard on me because I was the oldest, which I probably wasn't agreeing with because I was, you was real stern with me and Hakeem, but I brought you on this show, man, and just, let you know that for the world. I always tell you I appreciate you and Mom, what y'all did for us. Just had to put you on camera and so let the world see and just express my love to you, man, and just tell you how much I love you, man. And a lot of my life wouldn't be the same without you, and I just appreciate you being in my life.
Thank you so much. You trying to make me cry, man. Big grown man, senior citizen, yeah. And I appreciate that compliment. It's the most highest. It's better than any Super Bowl, any World Series, any NBA Finals. Yeah. It's a great compliment, and I appreciate it.
Man,
love you, brother, for that.
I love you too, Dad, man. Yeah. Very important to me. So, man, look, man, we got all the emotional stuff out of the way, man. Talk about your childhood, man. Let's talk about it like, my grandparents was from Tylertown. Correct me if I'm wrong. They moved down to East Biloxi, off Holly Street, man. That's second home to you. Well, that's your home, but that's where you was born and raised. Tell about your siblings growing up with them and how it was to grow up in the civil rights movement, like 50s and 60s. How was it like that?
Oh my goodness, man. I don't know where to start. My parents originally from Tylertown, Mississippi. Mary and Andrew McClellan. And what I passed on to you is what was instilled in me. It was a community back then. Just a village, as they say. And they gave us, the folks who lived in that community, and the church foundation gave me all that background that you were talking about earlier. And that's where that solid foundation comes from. You can't build you don't see a house in midair. It's got to have a foundation. And that's what those old folks gave us, was a foundation, respect, love for your neighbors, community, for the institutions that produced you. So that's where that all comes from. And my father was a cook out in Keesler for over 30-something years, and my mother was a domestic person, and she worked for rich folks, and so they gave us the best they could back in the 50s and 60s. Kind of hard on African Americans back then. A lot of it still maintains around the old money and stuff. Racism is built into all that. So, but black folks have always had that tenacity. Any situation you put us in, we'll survive it. And that's what's so great about our people, is that we overcome. And so that's basically the background I had growing up in Biloxi.
How many brothers and sisters you had?
Good environment, yeah. 8 siblings and stuff, 5 sisters. And that's the reason why I guess I'm spoiled. 5 sisters, because I ain't have to worry about cooking and cleaning and all that.
Yeah.
And 3 brothers.
Right.
2 brothers, I'm sorry. 2 brothers and stuff. And most of them were grown, and so I was left growing up with my sister, who's younger than I, Shakita, who's still living.
Right.
And we had a tight bond because our parents loved each other, so we just looked at that, and that was the blueprint. And so we just passed that on to our children and stuff.
Right.
And things that they tried to instill in us. And so I appreciate them. May they rest in peace. Growing up, had good friends whom I love dearly to this day.
Right.
White and black kids back then, we didn't understand racism, and we didn't understand the issues and stuff. But we went cross town to play football and basketball all the time. And that was just great to me because we didn't have no pressures on us. And so we continued to build our relationship. Some of them are still living today. And shout out to those who are still around and making life worthwhile.
Right. So that's the thing you just said, man. It's powerful, like sports brings everybody together. Like, to me and Bingo talk all the time. Talk about like, man, sports it don't matter. Like if you just the NFL this past weekend, it was black and white people sitting and watching the game, enjoying the game. That's in all sports, man. It don't matter.
It's a common denominator. It unites us, man, and I love that about the game.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about like how you introduced us to sports. The first sport that I came on the show before, and I said, man, my dad introduced every sport possible. You bought every type of sports, whether it's soccer ball, we had golf balls, we had football, basketball, all that. We gravitated towards football and basketball, but the first sport that you like really showed me was golf. And then like Mr. Willoughby, may rest in peace. He would take me in the backyard and go swing. And I remember used to sit in the front yard and watch me practice. And then you didn't like ever had any like jealousy or letting another man show me something. And then I used to just take notes like that, even though I was young. But what made you pick golf first?
Golf, one-on-one. It's it tells you about your character. You can either lose your temper on a putt, or you can be cool. So as you see Tiger Woods, how he interjects into the game, and so. And Tiger Woods, not only Tiger Woods, but others, how they play the game and how their character exposed them as you watching them. So that was the first thing, is how you gonna respond, win or lose. That's why I taught you golf.
Man, most definitely. It was a character builder, man. Definitely appreciate that. Another thing that what you did for us, man, that I just greatly appreciate is expose us to HBCU colleges. I mean, you are alumni of Alcorn State and alumni of Mississippi. That was one of the first campuses, a beautiful campus on the reservation. Me and Hakeem was probably like 4 or 5, taking us to those Alcorn games and just giving us that exposure in Jackson State and Southern University, FAMU, Alabama State. You was taking all to those games like on these weekends in the fall, football season, and man, I say I greatly appreciated that. What was your reason behind this? I never really sat down and asked you. Me and Hakeem always talk about it, but I was like, man, Dad was really exposing us to colleges and universities, because when you in the hood, I mean, we in Sirius City, we playing with our friends, we just think it's just sports and school, that's it. But you just took it to another level. What made you just want us to expose to HBCUs?
Black college football has a legacy. And so if you see something, you carry that on. So exposing you to that legacy, it does not die. I just pass it on to you as another generation and stuff. And all the players that came out of that legacy, I wanted you to advance that. And that's why we took you to those football games and to the campuses, is because you can carry on that tradition and stuff. And I can't take full credit for that. Your mother, she loved HBCUs,
Yes,
and so
she did.
that's all she talks about. And
Jackson State.
And so we wanted to pass that on to y'all, so y'all can carry it on.
So yeah, man, I always loved the biggest moment I can remember, man. We were Steve McNair was probably, you already know, that was my favorite
Yes, sir.
favorite athlete, and you was making it happen and making us go to those games.
Yes.
All through the early 90s, man. His whole tenure at Alcorn, man. I remember when they first opened up Norman, the Jack Spink Stadium.
Right.
And you took us there, man. He had, I don't know how I remember, but I do. But he had some black socks, some black spat. That's what we used to call it. Man, he swacked up, man.
Oh, yeah.
When he used to spat the cleats up.
Yeah, plastic cleats.
And it was like,
stuff.
that was the, outside of you, Dad, outside of you, that was the first man I looked at like.
He was impressed.
He was like,
Yes.
that Dave Chappelle, or when he saw Prince,
Yeah.
that was Steve McNair to me. And then, exactly like that. So it was his senior year. They played Southern University,
Right.
1994, October 22nd. Don't ask me how
Wow.
I remember that. That's my boy Kenny Clyde birthday.
Wow.
But that's how in deep depth I can go into it.
That's impressive.
So the game sold out.
Uh-huh.
And you and Mama trying to figure out how we gonna get in this game.
Yes.
Man, I don't know who you knew, but the guy let us come in with a band, and the band
Yes.
come in. So he's like, y'all just walk in.
Yes.
And whatever.
Yes.
He said, man, and then you try to give him some money. He was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm watching this. I was 9 years old. Man. I was 9. So
Boy, you remember all that?
yeah, I was 9 years old, and we got on the sideline. We would always get on the sideline.
Yes.
So
Yes.
got in the locker room with Steve, and I'm sitting there putting his helmet on, putting his jersey on, and he just, he don't know
cool.
us. He was just a humble guy. He was letting us do that, and he breaks the NCAA record that game,
Yes.
which is crazy.
Yes.
We get the tickets. So I don't know how we got the store ticket. So we get the ticket. The game he broke the record on, and we go to the I want to say it was the men's tower, where the athletes stayed.
stay.
Yeah. So we went over there, walked up the hill. Some kind of way you knew the highway patrolman that Steve McNair was a superstar, so he was getting escorted by him. So we go in Steve McNair room, man. It's on the 3rd floor, and his first room was on that left. You Mama take us up there, and I get to meet Steve McNair, and I'm just like,
Tradition.
Legacy. And asking him all the questions, and I want to thank you for that, man. Like,
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. It's my pleasure, man. It's being your father, being Daniel, Shabazz, and Hakeem. You know, I had that.
yeah, you had it on the old windbreaker, man. The old windbreaker, man.
Yeah. It's been an honor being y'all parents, man, and y'all been my focus from day one when I was in the military, and I decided, I said, I'm gonna take y'all back. You remember that? To Mississippi, to get that homegrown experience and stuff where your grandparents were still living and the community. Shout out to Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church, where your grandfather was a deacon, and fortunately was the chairman of the deacon board and stuff. You had all those pieces in place, man, and it was just a blessing to be y'all father, man, and to continue to try to show you the best of the world and the best of religion and the best of how to be a human being.
Most definitely, man. Those principles gonna be instilled. We call it being solid.
Yes, sir.
Like I'm gonna always do that because you just set that foundation for me, man. Never mistreat people, always treat people like
Yes,
I
sir.
want to be.
I told you when you was in high school,
Yeah,
speak to everybody, treat everybody with respect. You were the quarterback of the team. People knew you, so you couldn't be arrogant and disrespectful to your teachers and to your fellow students. You had to carry yourself with a different kind of aura. And I told you that. You remember
stay
that?
on me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I ever, like they say, I had another thing you used to do. Like I have a good game, and I might be smelling myself just a little bit. and my dad, you would be like, hey, you really ain't done nothing. You still need to go cut that grass. You still gotta rock your car. Humble pie. You still like, okay, man.
I remember Magic Johnson's dad used to do him the same way. He was like, yeah, you might be the star basketball player. Yeah. Get on the back of the truck. Let's go.
Yeah. So definitely that you never let me get full of myself. And I never will anyway, man. But I want to ask you this, man. The names, my name. So Shabazz Muhammad Andrew Cecil McClellan, which is SMACM. That's where SMACM was born. Why did you and Mom feel like y'all had to name me Shabazz Muhammad?
The original, you know what the name
is?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So we, your mother, I really didn't have anything to do with it. So, but your mother, one of those African names, one of those traditional names. Because when we came to this country, we were not named George and Frank, and we were named Muhammad and Shabazz and Hakeem, and so she just went back and got the original names of our people.
Yeah, so originally, like early on, I struggled with because my name was so unique.
Yeah,
and people, I didn't like when people would say like a substitute teacher would come in and say Shabazz. I would get pissed. I correct them.
Say it correctly.
Like, my name is Shabazz. Yeah. And then like me and my name being Shabazz. I haven't met yet another person in Mississippi named Shabazz. So that alone, that forced me to be keep the principles, keep my character, high character. So then that's what made me start appreciating. Like, man, I appreciate my mom and dad naming that. Now it made me be the right person. It made me be a humble man. It made me, do right by people. So I appreciate y'all for naming that Shabazz Muhammad. That's what my name say on the thing. That's my real name.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that. Shabazz Muhammad is my real name. Andrew Cecil, Andrew was my grandfather. Cecil was my mama's dad. Andrew was your dad.
She wanted after your grandfathers to honor them.
Now I take it with a grain of salt, and I wear that name with pride. Just like even with my boys like Davario, I never met nobody named Davario that game. Right. That name is unique.
Yes.
Seneca, I only know 2 Senecas in my life.
Yes.
3 Seneca. They used to play quarterback back in the Iowa State.
Yes.
But 3 Senecas ever. So, you already know I do not deal with people unless they solid and they right.
Right.
So those those men, I really love them and respect them. So we hold each other accountable for things like that. So that's another thing you used to do with me, and I can't even hold him accountable, especially me. Yeah. I used to get the business, man. But I appreciate it though, because the older I get, all the stuff you were telling me, that stuff is happening now, man.
Right back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, so I really appreciate that, man.
Yes,
so
my pleasure.
Yeah, man. Yes, so I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, and I'm gonna let you get back home to Mom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
How did you meet my mama, man? How you meet my mama, man?
I owe your cousin Pam for that introduction and stuff. She wanted me. I was active duty in the military at the time.
Okay.
And I came home and she kept talking to me about, I want you to meet this young lady. I want you to meet this young lady.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on home. Yeah. I'm ready to kick it.
I'm ready to hit the club. Yeah, I'm single, man. I ain't trying to do all that. Yeah.
Oh my God. And my cousin Pam set everything up, and we went by the house to pick her up because we was going to dinner. And guess where we went to? The Pizza Hut.
Man, that's one of my favorite spots. I'm mad about Pizza Hut closing it down right now.
And I always remember you and Hakeem always teased me about her. We got to the door, and your kidding folks. They act like you got some sense.
Yeah.
Because I wore a suit with no tie and stuff, and I knocked on the door, and she came to the door and answered the door. But before that, like I was saying, your cousin was saying, act like you got some sense. She's heavy-chested.
Yeah.
Excuse me, forgive me. and don't be looking at her breasts and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I cleaned everything up and stuff. And when she opened that door, I said, "Oh my God." That's what y'all always tease me about.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. That's funny. That's funny.
And so we went to the date, but I'm acting like, I'm cool.
Too cool. You cool.
Yeah,
man,
I got
you speak
this.
fly, man.
Yeah,
I gotta give it to you. I saw them
but
pictures.
Meanwhile, I was looking at her like, oh my goodness, man, this young lady, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like y'all said, I exhausted, man. And from then on, we just clicked, you know, and
gotcha.
Yeah, and when I finished my tour my tour overseas, I came back and we got married.
Oh man, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, cause I wouldn't be here,
Yeah.
man. You know, I appreciate y'all meeting. I appreciate cousin Pam, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, man, man, that's how I got here, man.
That's
So,
how
man, Dad, man, just I ain't gonna hold you no longer, man. But man,
I'm enjoying it, man. I finally relaxing.
Yeah, man, I know. That's why I ain't want to tell you. I just popped up on you. But man, and we gonna wrap it up, man. I appreciate you, man. I love you, man.
Love you too, man. Thank you,
about
man.
you, man.
Proud of you,
Appreciate
brother. Yeah.
But man, we gonna wrap it up, man. This is my special show, man. One of the most important people in my life, man. My dad, man, Frank McClellan, man. SMACM World. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, Chico, talking to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico, you're talking to the bad guy. Toothpicking your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, yo. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?